how do we move this process forward here? What are the challenges that these public institutions have to meet? Well, certainly, from my experience and your all's knowledge there as well, some of the trends we're seeing here is that there is a lot more litigation occurring today through journalism groups. A number of philanthropies are funding legal litigation alternatives when public records are denied, when access to public meetings are denied as well. And so that's a cost factor that public institutions have to be able to appreciate well, because many of these cases, it's public dollars that are being used to pay for the fines and fees when they violate these laws. The costs are growing to collect and organize public information and public engagement, but at the same time, there's a political benefit. One of the things that we have definitely seen a correlation between is trust and transparency. And when transparency disappears, so does trust. And not only does it disappear, then you start to get ideas of suspicion in there, misinformation, disinformation, social media, social networks out there that people will turn to for information are not necessarily reliable sources for information. I'm sure you've all seen different cases of that as well. And the idea that the technologies that we do know that there are technologies out there to be able to replicate, not reinvent these processes. I go back to, the days before, the virtual meetings and that, when you could go to almost any city in the country, sit in on their city council meeting, and the format and the process is almost the same depending on where you go. But in a virtual environment, we're seeing new things tried. We're seeing this reinvention of this 250-year-old practice called democracy. And it's not pretty in all the cases, as we've been seeing right now to where we are. So certainly one of the things that we're looking for out there is to encourage, public institutions to be able to take all those things that happen in a public meeting environment and replicate those online. Everything from the notifications, the document management, the streaming, however format that might be, whether it's audio, video, whether it's online, whether it's on the television screen, whatever, but being able for people to do that in real time, and then to be able to collect public comment from the individuals that we know is public comment, it's attributable and validated by the person who's providing that comment that they are one of your constituents. And then again, at the end, be able to provide that information out in terms of the outcomes of those deliberations, whether it's documentation, or streaming at another time for someone who can't make that particular meeting, but at least attempt those main characteristics